Hey everybody, it's Mari. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I have a card making process for you, and I'm going to be using this really sweet My Favorite Thing stamp called Hanging with My Gnomies. I've placed a piece of 80-pound Nina cardstock in my mini Misty, and I'm going to take some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm going to ink up the images that are going to be sort of like the main images for my card today, and I'm going to stamp those out onto that Nina Solar White cardstock. And then I am going to do some alcohol ink marker work. Now I am going to put a caption on the screen when the coloring is all finished, so that if you don't want to watch the coloring process, you certainly don't have to, obviously. But if you would like to, I'm going to put some music on for you while I blend my alcohol markers. Now the markers I'm using here today are my brand new Ohuhu markers. I love these markers. They are super fun to work with. And I am just going to let you watch as I color away here. just love how the coloring turned out with all of these images. Just absolutely love this stamp set. I think it's just adorable. Now I'm going to take some Distress Oxide ink in Broken China, and I'm going to take a Tailored Expressions blending brush, and I'm going to blend on that Distress Oxide ink using a Lawn Fawn Cloudy stencil. And this is just going to allow for my sky to take shape in my little scene that I'm going to be creating here. You can just see that I'm taking that Broken China ink and I'm just blending it across the little bumps on this stencil that create the impression of clouds in the background, and just leaving a little bit of white space between each time I move and turn that stencil so that it creates the sense of clouds in my sky. Now I'm just going to blend on some of that Broken China underneath the cloud area for just the blue sky, and then that will create all of the background for the rest of my scene. I'm taking my VersaFine Clair ink and I'm stamping a sentiment from the stamp set onto the top of the card. And now I'm just going to take some Ranger Clear embossing powder. I'm going to pour that onto that VersaFine Clair ink, which is a really slow drying ink. The embossing powder sticks to that ink. And now I can just take my heat tool and melt the embossing powder, and that is going to create a really nice shiny dimensional sentiment on the front of my card. Now I've taken some Gina K Jelly Bean Green cardstock and I have die cut that with some Lawn Fawn Grassy Hillside border dies to create a little area for my little gnome house and my gnome and some of the other little images that I'm going to stamp and color. So I'm going to put 2 layers of grass there so that I can insert the little gnome house between the layers of grass. And now I'm taking some My Favorite Things stitched rectangle dies, and I'm going to die cut a nice little stitched border around my little scene. So I'm going to take some Post-it tape here and tape that down, run that through my Big Shot, and now that card front is ready to be layered onto some pattern paper. The pattern paper I'm using is from My Favorite Things, the Spring Whimsy 6x6 paper pad. Now I did also run that paper through another stitched rectangle die. This is a stacked stitch rectangle die set from MFT, and I just took the next size up and die cut that pattern paper. Now I'm taking some foam dimensional adhesive here. I'm going to put that on the back of my card front, and that's just going to make that top layer of my card more dimensional and stick up off the base of the card. Now I'm just going to create my little scene with all of my colored and die cut pieces. I have die cut these using the dies from the Hanging with My Gnomies die set that you can purchase with the stamp set as well separately. And you can see that my card base is red. That's also some Gina K cardstock. That's Gina K Red Hot. And it just really coordinates nicely with the pops of red on the little gnome's hat and the gnome's house, of course, and the little toadstools that I'm going to be decorating my little card with, which I have colored and die cut out here, and I'm just popping some of these pieces up on some dimensional adhesive. You can also see that I colored and die cut out the 2 little ladybugs from the stamp set as well, and I'm going to just adhere those onto my scene with a little bit of glue dots, get those all positioned. And there is also a little stamp in the stamp set that just is little dots, that is the little trail from the little ladybugs as they're flying around, and I'm going to stamp those on just with my clear stamping block and some VersaFine Clair ink as well. So just get that inked up and stamp that out, and the little scene will be finished. I am completely done creating the scene, and I'm ready to just add some details. So I'm going to take my Nouveau shimmer pen and I'm going to add some shimmer to the gnome's hat. I'm also going to add some shimmer to a few other little areas like the tops of the toadstools, and I didn't want to add too much of that, so I thought that was probably about a nice balance of shimmer from the Nuvo pen. Now I'm going to take some, this is some Nuvo Crystal Glaze. I'm going to add that to the windows, which is going to create some dimension for my little window areas on my little gnome house. So super cute. I just absolutely love this stamp set. It is the most adorable stamp set of gnomes. So sweet. So now I'm just going to take my unicorn stickles and I'm going to add that to the center of my flowers, and I'm going to take my white gel pen and just add some little highlights here and there, including to the little nose of my gnome and his little boots, some of the flowers, the areas on the petals of the flowers, and the top of the gnome house, just kind of adding that detail. It just makes the card look a little bit more interesting, and I just love adding all of these little details when I'm at the end of my card making process. So I'm just finishing up here. I am going to show you a close-up here of my card when it's all finished. I had so much fun creating this today. Please make sure you check out in the description box below for links to the products that I used. I do have some affiliate links posted there so that if you do make a purchase using those links, I do get a small commission, which does really help me keep my YouTube channel going. And I do appreciate it if you use those links. Thank you so much. There is a little disclaimer in the description box below that you can also read through that explains about the affiliate links. If you liked my project today and you like my video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you as a subby. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.